Australia has become multicultural, and racism has certainly diminished over the last 50 years. But it does disturb me when I hear some of our politicians reassuring overseas governments that it doesn't exist at all. Personally, I've not experienced overt racism since returning to Australia 11 years ago from the US. But one of my visiting Indian neurosurgeons was spat on by an adult male who drove past him as he waited at a traffic light. I think it's incorrect and naive to say that there is no anti-Arab or anti-Indian sentiment. Just ask someone of Middle Eastern or Indian appearance. Unfortunately, racism still exists in Australia. But if you think it's bad, you would have cringed if you'd heard some of the things my mum said about you white devils. Once there was only road rage, but now it seems to have spread into the workplace, the malls, and even the last bastion of the laid-back, free-spirited Aussie, the surf. Look, I don't wish to trivialise the adversities of everyday life, but when a mother has just lost her son to brain cancer, or a husband his wife, or a daughter her father, and I see this 7 days a week, 365 days of the year, it makes the driver who overtakes on the left or the surfer who cuts in on your wave seem so inconsequential. I'm sure that if you are one of those angry people, if you could spend a day in my shoes, you would rapidly attain a more realistic perspective that the most important determinant of happiness is our health and the health of our loved ones. Look, I don't know for sure. I don't think anyone knows for sure, but having lived in the US for 10 years, I would be hopeful that our country would benefit from immigration of peoples from countries of conflict or those subjected to political persecution who are simply seeking refuge from violence or a better life for their children. I believe Australia has a moral and social obligation to demonstrate a higher level of kindness to and acceptance of refugees. I don't know how this may be achieved, but I certainly know that both sides of the political fence are floundering. I would humbly suggest that a bipartisan approach would be the one step closer to a solution, and we need that solution now. Generations of Aussies before gave us the foundations on which we may construct an even greater nation, one that is both culturally and socially sensitive and tolerant, one that acknowledges a responsibility to our own people as well as our near and distant neighbours who are less fortunate than us.